Before getting out, I thought about it. Should I take the DJI Action 6, which is an action camera, it can handle rain, or go with a Pocket 3? As you know, Pocket 3 and Pocket 4 now, it is amazing because of it being a camera on a gimbal. So I took the Pocket 3 because in low light like now, with a gimbal, the image is good. But guess what? It is raining. It started to rain. Not an issue for me. The jacket, I will dry it with the tennis balls. I have no issue there. But the problem is with the camera. So this time no face tracking to make sure the image doesn't bounce left and right. I still have a vertical mechanical gimbal with me. I have a DJI Mic 3 this morning, and we are talking about a very smart, extremely smart Via Ferrata climber. This is what this video is about. I will put it somewhere here on the screen. Or here like this to my right. I'll put it there for you to see what it is about. It is a video from TikTok. If they will ask me to take it down, I will blur the area and I will see how to do it. Let me describe it, what happens. In this way, again, if it is blurred, you can know what I'm speaking about. I was scrolling the other day on TikTok and I've seen this video because I started to save. I keep seeing Via Ferrata videos and some routes are interesting and I'm saving them there because they are interesting. It is worth going and climbing for the picturesque view and the position of a Via Ferrata or the elements they have. Because I'm saving them on the account, it keeps pushing to me Via Ferrata videos. And I've seen this video here, and I can tell you, this climber, he is the pure example of cognitive thinking, like a person who puts the effort to think, understands the risk, anticipates the risk, and from there manages risk. He's just amazing. When I've seen the video and I realized what he's doing, his mental process, I thought, oh, he's just amazing. What is he doing? He's climbing diagonal, probably slightly overhang, as on Schlossberg Via Ferrata, but he has the rungs and pegs, which is great. He was either tired or intimidated, or it was a hard element to solve. The thing is, he felt the need to be cautious, to be smart about it, which is perfect. What did he do? He was climbing the diagonal, he was going on that with rungs and pegs. So he had the aiding elements, the rungs and the pegs. And what he's doing is, he progresses, he does the anchor point transition, and now he advances towards the next anchor on the diagonal. But there is a risk of falling. Again, it appears a bit overhanging, that it pushes him back, and a difficult transition to make. So what he's doing is, he unclips one lanyard of a Via Ferrata set, and he clips it to the peg. Isn't that smart? Why? Because he's now progressing on this diagonal. If he loses control, that one there will hold him, well, he will fall on the vertical, he will not fall on the diagonal, he will not go back to the anchor. That going back to the anchor might even create momentum or might risk injuring him, hitting the other pegs and rungs. By clipping the carabiner there, that carabiner, if he loses control, it is the one that catches and will drag him down. Now, what you'll see is a hesitation because he does this, which is smart. It is allowed, why not? But then he has the tendency to commit human error. And this is very dangerous it is extremely dangerous on Via Ferrata. What he's doing is, by the way, I'm walking, I have a limp, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix it faster. I will tell you a story in a moment. And what he tries to do as a next move is to disconnect the other carabiner. That one is a no-no, because the moment you do that, the only thing that holds you is the carabiner clipped onto the peg, onto the rung, but you don't do that. On Via Ferrata, you don't do that. It is a no-no. You have to always have a carabiner connected to the cable. Now, to his advantage, or lucky him, he was able to move the same carabiner to the next anchor, to do the transition, and then unclip the other one coming from behind. But he was lucky in this situation, because if the distance would have been more, then there is not that much you can do other than try to pull as much possible and use the carabiner from the peg if it gets there. But the moment you unclip that, you are in the same initial scenario where if you fall, then you'll slide up to the previous anchor. A lot of rain, I see a lot of rain on the camera, but that's okay, it holds for the moment. So the move is not bad, it is smart. I'm not recommending it, I'm only speaking about it. It is, if you check his behavior, again, if it is not blurred, and if I'm blurring it, it will be because someone will ask me to take it down. But if it is not blurred and you can see it, check his behavior, his thinking. He puts that carabiner there because he's afraid, he's tired, it is a difficult element, and it's not wrong. It's not wrong what he's doing. There is nothing restricted there from a physics or risk management perspective. It is still okay. And then he's lucky enough that he can progress and do the next anchor point transition properly, which is unclips from the rung and clips it above the anchor, and then he will move that other carabiner. Two issues here. One is you see his hesitation. He has the tendency to disconnect the second carabiner, the one connected to the Via Ferrata safety steel cable. That one is a no-no, you don't do that. But he thinks, and he realizes the danger, and he understands, he remembers it is restricted, it's not the smart move to do, and he keeps going. Now, this comes the second thing. He was lucky. He was lucky because it was a small distance between the anchors. With a longer distance, would have been impossible to execute the move. So you see, you always have to analyze these things properly, because it's not black and white. It might work or it might get you into trouble, because the moment you start a move like this, what can happen is you might get into trouble because you cannot do the transition properly. The lanyard is not long enough, and the distance between you and the peg, your arm doesn't reach back to the peg or the rung to unclip, and that one might force you to go back, and that one might cause a drop or fall. So you have to pay attention about that. He was lucky in this situation, definitely a very smart climber, definitely very smart. You have to assess these things. It's not a move that I recommend on Via Ferrata, but it's not bad when you stay and think. If you are on a straight vertical and you have rungs and pegs like this, and you have a situation where you can at a point clip one of the carabiners of a Via Ferrata set to the rung, to the peg, you clip it, and in case you fall, now you don't fall the whole length you climbed of that safety steel cable, you only fall until the carabiner, the lanyard of a Via Ferrata set breaks, which is what, 1 meter and 10 centimeters, 1 meter 20, 1 meter 30, around that. What this means is not a bad move. The condition is you have to be able, when you reach with your hand, the anchor, and are able to do the transition, you should be able to reach up to do the transition and reach down to grab the same carabiner from the rung peg. If you can do that, if it's not extra effort, if it is not a risk to fall and lose equilibrium, lose control, then it's not a bad move. Again, I'm not endorsing this. I'm not saying do that. I'm only saying this climber, very smart. He did something smart. This is how I see it. He was almost about to make a critical mistake, but he stopped, he thought about it, and he adjusted, which makes him smart back again. You have to learn these things. As I had a comment on the channel, and I'm so sad that he deleted that. Actually, maybe I'll put it here for you to see it. We started a debate. Now, he wasn't fully right, but he was right up to a point. And he says at a point, he says, look, not everything is black and white, correct? And I'm not trying to make it black and white, but when we create rules, when we build habits, when we train for something, we have to try to keep it as black and white possible. In terrain, we have to be able to adjust. When you learn for your driver's license, for example, it is black and white, period. There is no gray. But then when you are in traffic, when you drive, when you have everyone around you and they're the way they are, I'm keeping like this the camera for you to see whatever I will put here to my right. When you are in traffic and drive like this, you have to be able to stay also in the gray area, because it might save your life, for example. So you have to be smart about it. I'm not endorsing, but it is reality of life. And I'm stopping here. Again, I'm not endorsing. But you have to be smart about it, always. Now, remember, on Via Ferrata, it is your sole liability and responsibility to get in, to get through, and to get out. So pay attention to that. You are not going there, even if you go with friends, even if you go with a guide, it is you. You have to rely on yourself. You have to take care of yourself. You have to be able to get in, to get through, to get out, and then to assume liability and responsibility for all your actions. I might be here to get yourself immersed, familiarized with a discipline. You might see other videos, but it is only for you to be more familiarized, better familiarized with it, more familiar and better familiarized with it. And that's that. We stop there. It is a lot of water on the gimbal. Hopefully everything okay with it. From there onwards, it is your responsibility. It is your liability. You decide how to do that. There are rules. There are safety rules to follow. What you'll do there, it is your responsibility. So don't blame others, because you are the only one to be blamed. Even to educate yourself, I go through the same processes. I many times make mistakes, and I cannot find fault on others. At the end of the day, it is our life, our responsibility. When we decide to do things, we have to be extra careful and think about it. We have many incidents in all disciplines. They happen. This doesn't mean stay home, but also when you go there, try not to do something irrational, because it might cost you dearly. It is one thing for it to happen because it happens and there is nothing you can do about it, or it is just an accident because it happens. It is the fatality of life. It is another thing for you to push it way beyond the limit. I have this limp here with a knee. I have now 5 weeks since I'm working at the recovery. So you see, I'm trying to be rational. I didn't want it. I didn't want it to cancel travel back again. I want to push as much good immersive content for you. I have a big plan there ready to be actioned on. I cannot. This happened. It is a bummer. It takes me emotionally, drains me, because another delay, but I'm trying to be rational. When I'm going out there, I would love to do more, but again, I'm trying to be rational because I understand the risks. Does this mean I'm not fully living my life? This is your decision to take. I decide for my life. I know what is important for me. You have to decide for your life as well. So, yes. Good luck to all of us. What he did, this climber, very smart. I would love to see more and more people like this thinking. Because I've seen many scenarios, I've met many on Via Ferrata, on the mountain. Oh yes, I've seen it on social media. It was someone with 1 million views and I loved it. I got curious and I decided to do it. Okay, so do you know how to get out of it? Do you know the risks? No. Are you ready? Are you prepared? Not really. So what if something happens? Well, hopefully not. It's not the best strategy. I've seen again on Via Ferrata, I met someone last time when I injured the knee. I didn't injure the knee on Via Ferrata, it aggravated itself. And she was saying, there was a couple and the woman in the couple was saying, look, I've seen it on internet, on some social whatever influencer, and then I asked the AI about it, and then I'm here doing it. It's my first time. But I only now realize the risks and the dangers and how bad it can be. Of course, but it is already too late. You are already there on the rock, and now you have to deal with it. Now, she was good. She was very good at it. She've gone through the elements. She did them. No issue there. Like, she was very good. So usually people are irrational. So let's not judge too much. Let's not take them as bad examples. But the idea is, between a lucky moment like this and a trauma or a disaster, is the boundary is thin. So we have to think about that. I did the same. My first Via Ferrata, I've jumped straight into a level D. I had no clue what Via Ferrata is, what to expect, when it ends, what comes next after the... Well, that one was the most difficult element of it, but I had no clue it is the most difficult. I didn't know how to read maps. I didn't know many things. I got in unprepared, and my only advantage was my who I am, my history. It rains heavily. I will stop here. I will see you later.